What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to have you here today. If you're new, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to @ClemSaur for more amazing content coming your way. In today's video, we got something really special lined up, so make sure to stay tuned, and let's dive right in.
Elon Musk is mad because community notes is increasingly being gamed by governments and legacy media. Working to fix this, it should be utterly obvious that Zelensky-controlled poll about his own approval is not credible. If Zelensky was actually loved by the people of Ukraine, he would hold an election. He knows he would lose in a landslide, despite having seized control of all the Ukrainian media, so he canceled the election. In reality, he's despised by the people of Ukraine, which is why he has refused to hold an election. He's mad that community notes end up undermining his position, so he's probably going to try and delete it. Elon Musk is also extensively having a crash out on the timeline once again, having another cave diver, Thailand cave diver moment. Here it is. This is Andreas Mogensen criticizing Elon Musk by saying, "What a lie." I know I'm going to get to the grime stuff too. Don't worry. Hold on. Here he is actively yelling at an astronaut. Elon Musk famously, alongside Donald Trump, said, he's going to help rescue these astronauts. They were left up there for political reasons. Andreas
It's becoming pretty obvious that Elon Musk's platform Community Notes is being targeted. Why? Because it's an unbiased tool that reveals the truth, and that's exactly what the powers that be, like governments and legacy media, can't handle. As more of the truth surfaces through this feature, they're desperate to suppress it. And let's face it, Musk's not one to back down, so they'll likely try to delete Community Notes altogether. But Elon knows what's at stake. He's not going to let the establishment get away with controlling the narrative. Now, let's talk about another issue Musk's been involved with: his ongoing fight with the mainstream media, especially when it comes to criticism from people like Andreas Mogensen. This astronaut has called out Musk. But here's the thing, Elon Musk is the one who helped rescue the Thai cave divers alongside Donald Trump by getting them the technology and resources they needed. These are real heroes.
Mogensen says, "What a lie," and from someone who complains about the lack of honesty from mainstream media. To which he responded with, "You are fully R-worded." To be fair, he can say it. He is neurodivergent. It's his word. SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago. This is a 50-year-old man, by the way. I think if you're 50 years old and you say this word in public, you should probably get a timeout. You know what I mean? Just a timeout. Like, all jokes aside. If you are 50 years old and you're saying this word, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Jesus Christ. Anyway, SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago. I offered this directly to the Biden administration and they refused. Return was pushed back for political reasons. Idiot. Elon, I have long admired you and what you have accomplished, especially at SpaceX and Tesla. You know as well as I do that Butch and Suni are returning with Crew 9, as has been the plan since last September. Even now, you are not sending up a rescue ship to bring them home. They are returning on the Dragon capsule that has been on the ISS since last September. Just to make this clear, the Musk lie about the astronauts isn't SpaceX offered a mission. The lie is that NASA, even Biden didn't want SpaceX to bring the astronauts home because he know like Elon, even though that's exactly what NASA did during Biden, which off rip tells you how absurd this dumbass lie is. Why would NASA pay for a whole new crew Dragon mission, $200 million plus, to interrupt the ISS schedule to bring astronauts back a few months earlier for no reason, when they could just leave them on the ISS for free, put them to work on the station, and bring them back on the next scheduled Dragon, which is what they decided? Answer that question or shut the f up. This wasn't
And now they're attacking him for what? Because he's challenging the narrative. Mogensen's criticism is wild, especially when you consider the fact that Musk's SpaceX has done things that the establishment never even dreamed of yet. Here they're trying to tear him down. They try to paint Elon as a villain, but the truth is he's been one of the few to actually do something good with his resources. But it doesn't stop there. The timeline is full of attacks. on Musk right now from all directions every time he pushes back, the establishment doubles down. They see him as a threat to their control over the media and the message, and they're scared. But here's the truth. They can't shut him down. They can't silence the movement Musk has created, and no matter how hard they try, they can't erase the impact he's had on technology, free speech, and the future of space exploration. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, whether you like them or not, are pushing against the status quo in ways that make the establishment quake in its boots. The media can spin it however they want, but the reality is they're trying to take down two of the most influential figures of our time, and it's only a matter of time before the truth comes out.
Done because of politics. You are the liar, Elon Musk replies, and the people you cite were not party to discussions. Liar. Hey, I think you forgot to read the part where I said answer that question or shut the up. You can't get owned by a dude who's literally paying for Twitter Blue and wears a bow tie on your own platform that you purchased, man. That is crazy. How is that even like you're getting destroyed by a child who paid for a blue check mark to post on your own platform? Oh my God. I can't tell if this is him drunk on power or high on ketamine. It's just so strange that Elon Musk says things about people and then those people come out and they're like, you're wrong. You're lying about this. Shut the fuck up. And he goes, you're R-worded. I owned you. Also, Elon is definitely doing great. Here he is at CPAC. It's like doing Dark MAGA. Dark MAGA. Let's take a look at what he had to say at CPAC.
You know, and have like a sense of humor, you know? So, I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Yeah. Like you can't.
All right, let's break this down. The situation with SpaceX and the astronauts stuck on the ISS has been a hot topic lately, and it's being twisted by people who refuse to acknowledge the facts. First off, we have Andreas Mogensen, who's criticizing Elon Musk's offer to help rescue astronauts from the ISS, claiming it's all a lie. He's going on about how SpaceX didn't send a rescue ship, but what he's not telling you is the real reason behind it: political interference. SpaceX could have brought these astronauts back months ago. Months. But the Biden administration, for reasons we don't need to get into, decided to delay their return.
Why?
Because they didn't want Musk to look like the hero here.
Simple as that.
Now, let's address the claim that Musk lied about the astronaut situation. The truth is, SpaceX offered to help NASA and bring them back on a mission, but NASA and the Biden administration refused. They had a rescue plan set up since last September for them to return on the Dragon capsule that was already waiting on the ISS. But despite that, they decided to wait and send another crew up, which makes no sense whatsoever. Why would they pay for a whole new crew to do another mission when SpaceX already had a solution ready? That just shows you how much politics were at play here. And then there's the issue of language. People like Mogensen, who are throwing shade at Elon, are using language that just doesn't sit right. We get it, you don't like Elon, but throwing insults around like a 5-year-old is just ridiculous. If you're over 50 and you're out here acting like this, maybe it's time for a timeout. For real. Come on, let's have some maturity in this discussion. Elon Musk and SpaceX offered a solution. But what happened? The powers that be, NASA and Biden's administration, chose to drag their feet for political reasons. That's the bottom line. And yet, here we are with people trying to paint Musk as the villain in all of this. But the facts are clear. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back, but they weren't allowed to. This is a political game being played at the expense of human lives in space. Elon Musk has always been about progress, innovation, and doing what's best for humanity. And when it comes to space, he's shown time and time again that he's willing to do whatever it takes to make things happen. But sometimes, the bureaucratic red tape just gets in the way.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal. I, on the other hand, am loving the comedy. Ha, dark MAGA. Everyone loves to talk about how you want to make comedy legal again until somebody posts that picture of the revolver pointing directly at Elon Musk as he's exiting a New York City high rise. And then all of a sudden, comedy is illegal now. What happened?
Can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of
Comedy sucks. Oh, God, I hate him. I hate him so much. I can't stand it. I can't stand this motherfucker, bro. But it doesn't end there. Here is Grimes, whose tweets you might not be able to see any longer. Grimes says, please respond about our child's medical crisis. I'm sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore the situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, can you please designate or hire someone who can so that we can move forward on solving this? This is urgent, Elon. I'm not giving any details, but he won't respond to texts, calls, or emails, and has skipped every meeting, and our child will suffer lifelong impairment if he doesn't respond ASAP. So I need him to respond. If I have to apply public pressure, then I guess that's where we're at. And while this is this is Grimes' last resort here, Elon Musk has done this instead. Made those posts unavailable, it seems, lowering her visibility. Isn't that cool? They get to do whatever the they want, dude. It's awesome. Billionaires. Have you taken him to Pete's doctor and then gotten a second opinion? I usually mix opinions with general physicians. The other tweets that she posted are not visible, just the yes. How the hell is this not the case for full custody? I'll tell you how. Elon Musk is rich, and when you're rich, they let you do whatever the want. Quite literally. When you are rich, you can do whatever you want. You can mistreat your little human shield to any degree that you want to, and there's no one that can say anything about it or do anything about it. And the mother can't even complain about it privately or get any legal recourse here. And she can't even complain about it publicly because guess what? Elon will limit your visibility. Elon is...
All right, let's break it down. Elon Musk's recent responses about the astronauts stuck on the ISS? Total nonsense, if we're being honest. The reality is simple. NASA and the Biden administration were the ones responsible for the delay in bringing those astronauts home. The Dragon capsule was sitting there, ready to go, and yet SpaceX wasn't given the green light to bring them back.
Why?
Because, politically, it didn't fit the narrative. Now, let's talk about that $200 million-plus price tag for a mission that wasn't necessary in the first place. SpaceX offered to bring the astronauts back earlier, but what did NASA do? They chose to leave them on the ISS, where they could continue their work until the next scheduled Dragon mission. It's a simple, cost-effective solution. Why interrupt the entire schedule, pay $200 million, and create a mess for no reason? They could have just left them up there, used the station for their work, and then brought them back when the next mission was scheduled. That's exactly what happened. So, Elon Musk's claim that SpaceX was blocked from doing the right thing doesn't hold up. And then we get this weird argument from the Musk camp, where he's trying to claim that others are lying about the situation. To be honest, it's getting hard to take him seriously when his main line of defense is to accuse others of lying without offering anything substantial. His replies, whether it's calling out people for their words or owning them, are more about his ego than anything resembling truth. Oh, and here's the kicker. You've got this guy, someone who literally paid for Twitter Blue, slapped on a bow tie, and is out here claiming victory on Elon's own platform. How are you getting destroyed by someone who's just trying to flex with an $8 checkmark? It's honestly wild. I can't decide if Elon's drunk on power or just lost in the chaos of it all. Either way, he's not doing himself any favors here. And don't even get me started on his CAC speech. It's honestly like he's in full dark mega mode, playing the political game. Comedy should be legal again.
Sure, Elon.
We get it. You're all about freedom of expression, unless it involves calling out the contradictions in your own statements, right? It's honestly like Musk can't help himself. He puts out these bold claims, gets caught up in these public disputes, and then doubles down with nothing but ego and confusion to back him up. The guy has done some incredible things with SpaceX and Tesla, no doubt, but when it comes to handling the pressure, sometimes it feels like he's getting distracted by the noise. You can't play the political game while ignoring the facts.
Completely shadow ban Grimes. I don't know if this is correct. I can still find her tweets, just not all of them. Oh, it now says the post was deleted by the post author. Before it said the visibility was limited somehow. They have 3 children together. Yes. I'm suspecting that Elon Musk has only done in vitro fertilization because he has 13 children, and I think all 13 were assigned male at birth. Vivian is trans. No, 2 of them weren't per Evan. Okay, with the exception of maybe like the first 2. I don't know. Also, what the is techno machinas? I mean, actually, what the is techno machina? That should be illegal, dude. Like, that's one of those things where you're like, this is what I want to name my child. And then when you're trying to type it in, when you try to type that in, the system goes, and it automatically alerts Child Protective Services, and they just take the custody away. No disrespect to Grimes, or automatically give the custody to Grimes, I guess. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. I feel like Grimes would totally be down with Techno Mechanicus. XAEAX2. Exa Dark Side Rail. Techno Mechanicus.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw! I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, what is happening, man? Does nobody see what I'm seeing? Like, when I see this kind of shit, I'm like, dude, like, I'm trying so hard not to be ableist. And you know, I got a little bit of that tism in me too, okay? 124, but goddamn, things could be so much worse. Holy shit, dude. This guy literally is running around and undermining the autism representation in spectacular ways, dude. Holy f***. He's the king to these people. He's a embarrassment, but they all got to kneel at his feet. I just don't understand. I don't understand how people don't look at this and go, Jesus Christ, what is happening? What is going on? In my immediate life, if I knew someone that liked Elon Musk with all of these shenanigans, if I showed any of this, even if they were like kind of agnostic on Elon Musk initially or something, right? They were Elon Musk agnostic, and then they saw this and they responded positively, I think I would have them institutionalized. It's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Like, you need a lobotomy. If you look at this and you think like, oh, he's so cool. He's the coolest. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand how stupid people can get. This is shit that the dumbest guy can look at and go, yeah, this guy's not all right.
I'm living the meme. It's like,
It's wild. We're seeing this power struggle where Elon Musk is more concerned with making sure no one criticizes him than actually dealing with real issues. I mean, look at this. He's walking out of a high-rise in New York City, but instead of facing the music, he's making sure that comedy is illegal now. Seriously, he's pushing this narrative where you can't make fun of anything anymore. It's like he's trying to stifle free expression, comedy, jokes, anything that could poke fun at his serious persona. And it's crazy because he's literally making these moves in full view, as if the world should just shut up and accept it. And then, here comes Grimes, publicly pleading with Elon to respond about their child's medical crisis. This isn't about petty drama, it's real. She's talking about a situation that could cause lifelong harm to their child if it's not handled right now, and yet Musk won't even take a call or answer an email. He skipped meetings and ignored the urgency of the situation. She's left with no choice but to bring this to the public. But what does Musk do in response? Instead of responding like a mature adult and dealing with the issue, he just shuts down her tweets, hiding her posts and lowering her visibility.
Why?
Because he's got the power to do so. It's heartbreaking, honestly. Instead of showing compassion or taking responsibility, Musk decides to erase her voice and make her seem invisible. And here's the kicker. She's not even providing all the details, just asking for a basic response. This isn't some petty Twitter spat. This is about a child's health, and Musk is playing this power game like it's some kind of PR stunt. It really raises the question, how is this okay? How can someone with that much wealth and influence just shut down a legitimate issue like this without facing any consequences? Billionaires like Musk have the ability to control so much, and it's not just about business. It's about silencing people and covering up their own mistakes when it comes to personal matters. This entire situation reflects the privilege that Musk has. When you can just hide tweets, avoid personal responsibility, and play with people's lives like it's a game, what does that say about the system we're working with? It's not just about money, it's about how wealth enables power plays that put real lives at risk. When you've got that much money, it's almost like society lets you do whatever you want without any real checks. Musk, in particular, seems to be taking full advantage of this power, using his wealth to manipulate not just the narrative around him, but also the lives of those around him, like Grimes. As you pointed out, if someone's rich enough, they can mistreat people, hide behind the curtain of wealth, and silence others without facing consequences. Grimes can't even complain about the situation publicly without facing severe consequences. And if she does, guess what? Elon can just limit her visibility, effectively shadow banning her posts. This really highlights a huge imbalance in power. Musk's ability to erase his ex's voice is a perfect example of how money and fame can shield someone from accountability. Grimes, who should have every right to voice her concerns about their children's well-being, is instead silenced in a way that many people might not even realize is happening. Even when she tries to get the word out publicly about their child's medical situation, Musk has enough power to make sure her visibility is reduced. It's a form of control that goes beyond just his businesses. It's personal. And then there's the issue of Musk's children. Speculation about how many children he has or how they were conceived is just one layer of this complicated situation, but it seems that Musk's life and decisions are anything but transparent. Whether it's about in vitro fertilization or the bizarre names he's giving his children, it all adds to the strange spectacle that is his personal life. You have to wonder, why is he so obsessed with controlling how everything, even his kids' names, are perceived? Names like Technomus might just seem eccentric, but they also raise questions about who really has a say in these children's lives. It's a strange moment when it feels like public opinion and money are shaping the future of these kids. Ultimately, what's troubling about this whole thing is how Musk's wealth allows him to shape the narrative and dodge any real accountability, while those affected by his decisions are left struggling to have their voices heard. Whether it's silencing his ex or using his influence to control his image, it's clear that this is more than just a billionaire problem. It's a societal issue where the rich and powerful can sometimes hide behind their wealth and manipulate situations to their advantage. Here's the thing about Elon Musk. He's not just some rich guy living in a bubble like the left-wing media wants you to think. The guy is actually doing more for humanity than most of these so-called heroes ever will. While Grimes is playing games and crying out for attention, Musk is out here innovating, pushing the boundaries of space exploration with SpaceX, making electric cars mainstream, and even taking on the tech giants with Twitter. Yeah, sure, he's got a strong personality and says things that ruffle feathers, but what else would you expect from someone who's actually trying to break the system?
There's living the dream and there's living the meme, and it's pretty much what's happening, you know.
I'm living the map. CPAC, of course, was filled to the brim with morons, people who were maybe high on copious amounts of ketamine or other kinds of drugs, Elon Musk, and of course, Nazis. And here is a Nazi who has felt left out since Elon Musk has been sig-heiling a lot and once again retaining the favor of all of the worst losers online. That Nazi is Steve Bannon. Let's take a look at what he did.
The city of London, right here. This is not beatable. You can't. The only way we lose is if we quit. The only way we don't have victory if we surrender. The only way that they win is we retreat. And we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
By the way, Steve Bannon replicates Elon Musk's controversial salute to CPAC. Just say it's a Nazi salute, man. What is happening? Why are we doing this? Like, I like that the media just keeps refusing to recognize exactly what this is. Oh, it's a controversial salute. Like, just say what it is, man. Your job is to say the truth. What the are we doing here? There is already internal drama between Steve Bannon and Elon Musk. Bannon hates Musk. Musk is doing everything Bannon wanted to do. Musk's Twitter is a more effective far-right narrative machine compared to Breitbart. Doge is doing what Bannon wanted to do. This is correct. I've read extensively into the background of Steve Bannon, and I've talked about him quite a bit last time around. Steve Bannon feels a little bit sidelined. I mean, he, after all, went to jail for his loyalty, right? Or at least for, doing some side deals. But Steve Bannon was Donald Trump's guy, right? First time around. He got him big donors, the Mercers specifically. Like, he helped them out. He is part of the reason why Donald Trump became president the first time. Steve Bannon is the OG Nazi here. Having said that, Elon Musk was able to, with all of his wealth, purchase Twitter and turn it into a much more effective, much larger Nazi creating machine. Elon Musk also was able to actively undermine the regulatory agencies and destroy the federal apparatus in ways that Steve Bannon could never dream of. This is part of the reason why Steve Bannon keeps saying that Elon Musk is a parasitic illegal immigrant who should be cast aside, who should be kicked out. Except when directly asked about Elon Musk, he, of course, will also say stuff like, oh, actually, he's great. He's doing a great job. I'm still skeptical of him. I think this is a reasonable take on what's going on. There's great karma in the fact that Bannon was replaced by an immigrant from Africa to boot. I mean, all jokes aside, that is the real resentment that Bannon has for Elon Musk, because Elon Musk is doing everything that he dreamt of doing, everything that he wasn't even able to successfully do. What? I don't know about this part, but Steve Bannon did actually actively get, Steve Bannon, when he was working at Goldman Sachs, it was responsible for Goldman Sachs investing in gold farming in China, I think, for wow. He literally did do that. That is real. What is this?
The real question is, why are people so bent on tearing down the guy who's literally trying to move us toward a better future? They call him crazy. They call him irresponsible, but every time he makes a move, it's a step forward for technology, free speech, and innovation. Meanwhile, you've got the media trying to cancel him and censor his every word because they can't stand the fact that he's shaking up their narrative. Grimes crying about medical crises or whatever. She's just trying to stay relevant. Let's be real. Elon is busy changing the game, and the left can't handle it. And let's talk about the hypocrisy here. They want to call out Musk for being too much or too controversial, but they've got no problem supporting leaders who literally censor free speech, destroy jobs, and push ridiculous policies. So spare me the outrage. Musk is one of the few people out there actually challenging the status quo, and people can't stand it. But that's exactly why we need him. We need leaders who don't bend to the system, people who push us forward, not backward. So, if you want to bash him, keep on. But he's just going to keep proving you wrong, like he always does. Listen, people love to make these ridiculous comparisons and play the Nazi card whenever it suits their narrative. They love to throw around labels because it makes them feel like they're exposing something, but in reality, it's all smoke and mirrors. The left-wing media is so fixated on their ideological attack on anyone who doesn't toe their line that they can't even recognize a salute without trying to push their narrative. The media will twist anything that challenges their agenda, no matter how ridiculous it gets. As for Steve Bannon and Elon Musk, look, there's no denying that Musk is doing what Bannon wanted to do in terms of shaking up the mainstream media and fighting back against the far-left establishment. Musk has built a platform with Twitter that actually gives voice to the people who have been silenced for years by corporate-controlled media. He's giving people like you and me a space to discuss ideas freely, without censorship. So, what's the real issue here? Musk is building something that works for the right, and the left can't stand it. They can't win in the court of public opinion, so they start labeling everyone who challenges them Nazis or extremists. Musk and Bannon may have their differences, but one thing's for sure. They both want to challenge the status quo. And that's what scares the establishment the most. They want to control the narrative, and anyone who stands in their way is immediately painted as the enemy. But it's not about the salutes or the ridiculous things the media wants to focus on. It's about the power shift. Musk is taking on the left's narrative machine and exposing just how corrupt and biased it is. And that's why they'll do anything to bring him down.
It's one of the last books I've read many, many years ago at this point. Was it Devil's Bargain, I believe? Great book. Oh, you were just giving a nerd example of how he got ditched. Okay. Steve Bannon also saw importance in, he looked at Gamergate after his experiences with the gold farmers and like the gaming community in general, and thought, you know, we could probably use these guys to do free media online. That was somewhat effective. I think that now, especially, that has become a prominent fixture of the Trump campaign. But now he's getting sidelined by Elon Musk, who somehow is just as repulsive as Steve Bannon, for the record, and has, in a different way, also a horrifying sense of style. Their sartorial decisions are shocking to me, okay?
And that's what Elon Musk has been doing with Doge. And he took the stage yesterday at CPAC with a chainsaw, demonstrating essentially what he's been doing.
Cool. Oh, it was so cool.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
So the guy on stage with him that's waving, that's the president of Argentina, and he gifted Elon that blinged out chainsaw that Elon was holding up, because both of them are known for cutting wasteful
Did in his
spending.
country.
Right. My problem with Milu is he's tight with China, and he's reaffirming things with China, but he...
My problem with Milu, god damn, dude. My problem with Milu is that he's tight with China. Professional political commentators love that, dude. Love that. Okay, Brian. I'm Brian. Kill me.
People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to D.C., you know, when you're in D.C.? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures. And actually...
How is that surprising? You are the expenditure recipient. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, it's so surprising that these dumbasses give me unlimited funds. That's surprising. Like, no, it's not surprising to you. You demand more of it. As a matter of fact, now with all of the extra control that you have over federal expenditures, you are going to get more of it. I hate this. We're just cutting out the middlemen, okay? All Elon is doing is putting a chainsaw to the corporate lobbyists.
Steve Bannon, for all his talk about fighting the globalists and challenging the establishment, has always been tied up in the same system that he claims to despise. He was there, backing Trump with big donors, using the same kind of corporate influence that he now rails against. It's ironic because Bannon, in many ways, laid the groundwork for Trump's rise. But here's the kicker. Elon Musk came along and took that playbook to a whole new level. Musk didn't just buy Twitter. He turned it into a platform that challenges the very foundations of the left-wing narrative machine. Bannon might have had big ideas about fighting back, but Musk actually put his money where his mouth is. He's been able to circumvent the regulatory agencies, reshape the public discourse, and push the boundaries in ways Bannon could never dream of. Musk isn't just challenging the system, he's undermining it from the inside, and that's what really gets under Bannon's skin. It's not just about the money, it's about the power Musk holds now, and that's a threat to people like Bannon who thought they were in control of the narrative. It's hilarious, though, because Bannon, with all his anti-elitist rhetoric, now finds himself outdone by a tech mogul who's literally an immigrant. Musk might be from South Africa, but that's a sharp slap to someone like Bannon, whose entire career has been about exploiting the system while complaining about others doing the same. And let's not forget about Bannon's own shady history with Goldman Sachs and China. Yeah, he was part of that, too. What Bannon really resents is that Musk, despite all the resources he has, is the one who's actually putting his ideals into action. Musk's approach is a reminder that money and power can change things, but also that resentment and spite don't get you anywhere in the long run. Musk is living the dream Bannon wanted, and now he's stuck being the bitter guy on the sidelines. Karma's a funny thing. Steve Bannon might have been the original architect of the online right-wing media landscape, using Gamergate as a launching pad for what would eventually become Breitbart's far-right narrative machine. He knew the value of mobilizing online communities, leveraging free media in the same way we see influencers today, but now he's being sidelined by none other than Elon Musk. Musk, despite his own flaws, there's no denying the guy's a walking contradiction, is running circles around Bannon. Musk's strategy isn't just about blowing up Twitter and making a tech empire. It's about cutting through the bureaucracy and bypassing the middlemen that Bannon and the others relied on. He's taking control in a way that Bannon only dreamed about. Musk, with his chainsaw metaphor for cutting the corporate bureaucracy, is almost like a libertarian's dream come true. No more need for corporate lobbyists. We're cutting out the fat and getting to the meat of it ourselves. It's a bold, if you can't beat them, join them approach. Take down the system by running the system, which, while controversial, has its merits in terms of efficiency. Ing yourself up, grinding harder, pushing through the system. It doesn't really address the fact that for some, the grind will only ever be that endless and fruitless.
By basically coming in and going, all right, you know what? We've decided we don't even need the corporate lobbies. We'll do it ourselves. We'll just directly be in the room. Pre-Malay, the poverty rate was 40%. Now it's at a 40-year high of 52%. This is libertarian economics at work. Excuse me. That means instead of 40% of the public having to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, now you got 52% of the public having to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. That's a good thing. That means more Sigma grind set. Hello, bigger number is better. Did we forget? I am so confused. What a confusing prospect for me. A person who is dumb and thinks right wing good, left wing bad.
How easy it is to, when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's wild, but obviously it just shows that they really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot to people, you know. So what are you talking about?
So I'm so conflicted about Doge because on one hand, of course, I support everything that was happening, but I feel like it's in the rundown every single day. I'm like, oh, it's Doge, 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 Doge. And then I go out there and I talk with American people every single day, and that's all they're talking about is Doge. People that are not really political, they want to see where the money is going. They want the waste to go away. And I think there's this spirit amongst Americans now. When they look at their circumstance, they look at their family struggling, some of them living paycheck to paycheck, and they see some of this outrageous spending. They're wondering why they haven't gotten some of that money. I think it's the top story every single day for a reason. It's something that resonates with American people.
Yeah, and Elon Musk said it's going to save Medicare. It's going to save Social Security. He said this is not optional. It is essential. He said treating the government's money is no different than the way you would treat your check.
Bro, this is actually nutty. It's so crazy, man. We are so cooked. Like, anyone that believes this is the most cooked person on the planet. For example, $1 spent on the IRS returns to the government coffers like tenfold. That means we can spend more money on initiatives like fixing the goddamn potholes, fixing education, any number of different things that are infinitely more helpful for regular Americans. The
flip side of this, though, is that while Musk's disruption might look cool on stage and in media, the long-term results are harder to pin down. His libertarian economics, which seemingly reward the wealthy and allow them to sidestep accountability, are what drive a lot of the frustration. What does it matter if billionaires have more control and power when 52% of the population is struggling to make ends meet? The gap between the elite and the working class continues to widen, and while Musk's chainsaw might cut through red tape, it also leaves behind a trail of devastation for the average worker who's just trying to pay their taxes and live their life. And yet, here we are, with some people treating this as if it's some grand new model of success. Bigger number is better, right? Well, at the expense of the working class, it's hard to see how anyone could call this a win. But that's the appeal of the right-wing rhetoric. It's all about lifting yourself up, grinding harder, pushing through the system. It doesn't really address the fact that for some, the grind will only ever be that endless and fruitless look. It's hard not to be conflicted about things like Dogecoin and the broader tech and financial movements Elon Musk is involved in. On one hand, the spirit of innovation and freedom is great, but on the other hand, the daily obsession with Doge feels like it's running on fumes, overshadowing the real, pressing concerns that affect regular Americans. The people out there, struggling to make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck, they see Musk's antics, they see Dogecoin's volatility, and they can't help but wonder, where's all that money really going? The thing that bugs me is this disconnect. Musk says Dogecoin will save Medicare and Social Security, but let's get real. That's just words without the substance to back it up. Claiming it's going to fix things like potholes, education, or healthcare when the reality is far more complicated doesn't add up. The American people are watching this, and they're frustrated because they don't see the money that's supposedly trickling down. They don't see how this kind of speculative investment impacts their lives. And then you have the myth of cutting the middleman with Musk's statements about dismantling regulatory agencies like the CFPB. Here's the thing. For every dollar spent on regulatory agencies, we often see a return far greater than the investment, like with the IRS clawing back $21 billion in fraud and abuse. These aren't just abstract, bureaucratic actions. They directly benefit the American public by bringing ill-gotten gains back into the system. But Musk, with his libertarian ideals, wants to cut these agencies, all while claiming that it's about saving money for Americans. In reality, he's dismantling the very systems that protect people from corporate greed and fraud. Musk's claims are a perfect example of the flawed thinking that pushes more libertarian economics. It's about cutting regulations, cutting government spending, and somehow pretending that the public will benefit. But history has shown that when you reduce oversight, it's the average American who ends up paying the price, whether through higher costs or less accountability in the market. So when he says we need to cut the CFPB, it's not about being efficient. It's about consolidating more power in the hands of the rich and powerful, while the average person is left holding the bag. If you really want to help regular Americans, you'd invest in programs that directly benefit them, not pull the rug out from under them.
Greatest example of this is Elon Musk claiming that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, needed to be dismantled. It had a $1 billion budget. It's true, it did. They had only used $250 million of the $1 billion budget so far. Elon said, we're going to cut this. Okay, we're going to cut this regulatory body that was an absolute necessity that was put in place after the financial crisis of 2008. Elon Musk said, we're taking this away. We're taking this regulatory agency away from the American public. That agency with a $1 billion budget, only using $200 million so far, was able to claw back $21 billion of ill-gotten gains through fraud and abuse from corporations that were f***ing over the American consumers and deliver it back to the American consumers. So for $1 billion, they returned to the American consumers $21 billion directly. It's not even the IRS at this point. Directly back into your pockets. Now, Elon Musk, on the other hand, claims that, oh, well, there's still $700 million in the tank. Let's just give it to the American people directly. Okay, you get $3 in return. The f are you talking about? What serves a better purpose? Billions of dollars of stolen revenue returned back to the consumers for the meager price of $250 million with an agency that could continue working. Clearly, corporate corruption has not gone away. They're still doing fraud. Or $3 in your pocket. What do you think is better? What do you think is a smarter use of resources? The reason why I explain this process is because it is one of the clear-cut, it's an example that they refuse to reckon with because there is no defense of it. It is such an obvious instance of eliminating an agency that was protecting consumers from billionaire corporations and billionaires that were stealing from you. People like Elon Musk and his buddies hated the CFPB and they wanted to eradicate it. And then you'll get $3 in return. When the agency existed, you were getting hundreds of dollars in regular frequency if people were stealing from you. If corporations were stealing from you, CFPB goes in, they forcibly claw back those instances of theft and give it back to you. It's basically like good cops, okay? Good finance cops. Think about that. But of course, as the case, the only cops that do get defunded are
million in the tank, let's just give it to the American people directly, okay? You get $3 in return there. You talking about what serves a better purpose, billions of dollars of stolen revenue returned back to the consumers for the meager price of $250 million with an agency that could continue working. Clearly a corporate corruption has not gone away. They're still doing fraud or $3 in your pocket. What do you think is better? What do you think is a smarter use of resources? The reason why I explain this process is because it is let's get real about what's happening here. We've got a regulatory agency with a $1 billion budget, and it's done more for the American people than any of these so-called free market champions like Elon Musk could ever claim. This agency clawed back $21 billion in stolen revenue from corporations, and that's direct money back in your pockets. For every dollar spent, it brought back 21. This isn't even the IRS. This is a dedicated consumer protection agency working to undo corporate corruption. It's working as it was intended, protecting regular folks from the big players who are stealing from them. Now Musk comes in, waving his libertarian flag, claiming that we should tear down agencies like the CFPB and just give the American people a few bucks in return. Okay, so we're supposed to be happy with $3 in our pocket, right? But when the CFPB was around, we were getting hundreds of dollars directly from corporations that had been stealing from us in the first place. So, let's be clear about what this is. This is corporate greed, plain and simple. People like Musk and his billionaire buddies want to get rid of the only agency standing in the way of their theft. They don't want to face accountability for their actions, and they want to keep pocketing money that should belong to the American people. The idea that you dismantle a system that's proven to bring back billions in fraud protection just so we can get $3 from some vague direct-to-consumer plan, that's not a better use of resources. That's a ripoff. And the irony of it all? The only cops being defunded are the ones protecting us from financial crime. How's that make sense? It's like getting rid of the cops on the beat who are stopping bank robberies and giving the criminals a free pass. We need agencies like the CFPB, not some big idea. That's just another excuse for billionaires to keep getting richer off our backs.